The clock reads 3:23 a.m., and you're still awake, not because you're not tired, you're exhausted. You've been exhausted for days, but because your brain refuses to stop. It's replaying a conversation from yesterday, analyzing what you should have said instead of what you did say, wondering if the other person noticed the awkward pause, constructing scenarios in which that pause leads to consequences that spiral outward into catastrophes you can feel but can't quite name. Then it jumps to something else, some decision you need to make next week, running through every possible outcome, weighing pros and cons that multiply rather than clarify. And you're no closer to a conclusion than you were 3 hours ago when you first lay down and told yourself you'd figure it out in the morning. Morning feels very far away, and you know this isn't productive. You know that no problem has ever been solved by lying in the dark, perseverating on it. You've read the articles about sleep hygiene, tried the breathing exercises, downloaded the meditation apps with voices that tell you to imagine peaceful forests while your mind screams about mortgage payments and social failures. None of it works. Or it works for a few minutes, and then the thoughts break through again, louder for having been briefly suppressed, demanding attention with an urgency that makes no logical sense given that nothing you're thinking about is actually an emergency right now. You live in your head. You've always lived in your head. It's not a place you chose to inhabit. It's where you found yourself when you became conscious enough to notice, and you've never been able to leave for more than brief vacations that meditation apps and exhaustion occasionally provide. Other people seem to have an off switch. They seem to be able to stop thinking about things, to let go of worries, to simply exist in the present without constantly analyzing, projecting, protecting against futures that haven't happened and might never happen. You can't imagine what that's like. Your mind doesn't rest, it patrols. You think about where this started, and the answer is probably early. A household where things could go wrong without warning. A parent whose moods were unpredictable, whose reactions had to be anticipated, whose emotional weather determined the safety of everyone else in the house. A childhood where letting your guard down meant being caught off guard, where the cost of relaxation was vulnerability to whatever was coming next. You learned that vigilance was survival. You learned to think ahead, to analyze constantly, to run simulations of everything that could go wrong so you'd be prepared if it did. And the strategy worked, in its way. You got good at anticipating problems, at protecting yourself from surprises, at seeing patterns others missed because they weren't watching as carefully as you were. But here's what no one told you. The vigilance doesn't turn off when the danger passes. You left that household years ago, maybe decades ago, and your brain is still running the same protection protocols as if the threat were ongoing. You're not scanning anymore for the specific dangers of your childhood. You're scanning everything, all the time, because the scanning itself became the habit, the default, the only way your nervous system knows how to operate. Chronic overthinking isn't a choice. It's an adaptation that became automatic. It's a security system that was set to high alert so long ago that you've forgotten it has other settings. And now it's consuming your life, not just your sleep, but your presence in conversations you can't fully participate in because part of your mind is elsewhere, your capacity for joy that's interrupted by intrusive worries, your relationships that suffer because you're never quite here, always half lost in the maze of your own thoughts. The exhaustion you feel isn't just from lack of sleep, it's from the constant metabolic cost of a brain that never rests. Thinking takes energy, worrying takes energy. Running simulations of catastrophes that haven't happened requires the same mental resources as actually dealing with catastrophes. You're burning fuel all the time on problems you're not solving, threats you're not facing. Scenarios that exist only in your imagination but feel real enough to activate your stress response, as if they were happening right now. You've probably noticed that the thinking doesn't actually help. You never reach the end of a worry spiral and find peace waiting there. You never analyze a problem thoroughly enough that your mind says, "Enough, we've figured this out, now we can rest." The thinking creates more thinking. The analysis generates more angles to analyze. The worry expands to fill whatever space you give it, and you've given it your whole life. Here's the counterintuitive truth no one taught you. The opposite of overthinking isn't not thinking. It's not trying to stop your thoughts or empty your mind or achieve some state of perfect mental silence. The opposite of overthinking is learning to let thoughts exist without engaging them, to notice them arrive, acknowledge their presence, and choose not to follow them down the rabbit holes they want to take you. This sounds simple. It's not. Your brain has been rewarded for following thoughts for years, decades maybe. Every time you analyzed a situation and felt temporarily safer, even if the safety was illusory, the pattern was reinforced. Every time you thought through a problem, even if the thinking went in circles, your mind registered it as productive activity worth repeating. You've trained yourself to believe that thinking is always useful, that not thinking means letting your guard down, that the moment you stop analyzing is the moment disaster sneaks in through the unguarded door. That belief is the trap. The thinking isn't protecting you, it's exhausting you. It's stealing your sleep, your presence, your capacity for the kind of deep rest that would actually prepare you to handle problems if they arose. The vigilance that feels necessary is actually undermining your ability to respond effectively to anything because you're running on empty, depleted by the constant expenditure of mental energy on threats that don't exist outside your imagination. You don't need to stop thinking. You need to start questioning the belief that all thinking is mandatory, that every thought your brain produces deserves attention, engagement, hours of analysis. Some thoughts are just noise. Some worries are just your nervous system doing what it learned to do when you were too young to tell it to stop. You can notice a thought without climbing inside it. You can acknowledge worry without feeding it. You can say, I see this thought. I hear this concern, and I'm choosing not to follow it right now. And then, the hard part, you do nothing. You let the thought sit there, unresolved, unanswered, and you discover, slowly, over time, through practice that feels pointless at first, that unresolved thoughts don't actually kill you, that sitting with uncertainty doesn't cause the catastrophes your mind promises, that the world keeps turning even when you stop trying to control it through obsessive anticipation of everything that could go wrong. It's 3:47 a.m. now. You're still awake, but maybe tonight you can try something different. Maybe instead of fighting the thoughts, you can just let them be there. Background noise rather than urgent signals, static rather than messages that require immediate response. Maybe you can rest even before the thinking stops, because waiting for the thinking to stop means you'll never rest at all.